Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of our special series on amplifying growth, achieving impact. I'm Pallavi from People Matters. As part of our exclusive conversations with top industry leaders on matters that help talent leaders and businesses take critical decisions, our focus has been on three quintessential themes: role transformation, reducing skill obsolescence, and employee engagement. The insights and the learnings gathered during this video series in partnership with upGrad for Business will be captured into an ebook titled How Do We Empower Organizations to Thrive in the New Age Economy to Help Businesses Lead in the Future of Work. Today's session will talk about how talent leaders can identify new roles and responsibilities to empower their workforce. What are the challenges within talent transformation that need immediate attention, and the evolving needs of the role transformation, and much more. In today's freewheeling conversation on role transformation and its relevance in today's world of work, I have with me Jeeva Balakrishnan, Senior Vice President and Chief Talent Officer at Reliance Retail, and Minaxi, Indra, President, upGrad for Business. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you. Thank you, Pallavi. It's good to be here.
So let me introduce my viewers to both my panelists. I'll give a brief introduction to both my speakers. Jeeva comes with 2.5 decades of experience in sectors like manufacturing, consulting, and retail, fashion and lifestyle, grocery, consumer electronics, and telecom, to name a few. He believes in identifying problems curiously and exploring solutions creatively. Some of his recent interests include human-machine collaboration, positive psychology, talent liberation and transformation, organization identity, conversational intelligence, and future thinking. Minaxi has 2 decades of business growth experience across companies like IBM, Cisco, SAP, LinkedIn, Uber, and now upGrad. She's a purpose-driven leader, passionate about people's transformation. She leads the upGrad for Business and upGrad Work Better teams, focusing on bringing outcomes-driven learning programs for her customers. So as we begin the conversation, let me start with you, Jeeva. When we talk about role transformation, onboarding people within the right resources is very critical for talent leaders. So as jobs evolve in a dynamic business landscape, what is that one challenge we need to urgently address when upskilling new joinees and also in-house talent to take up new roles and responsibilities?
So thanks, Pallavi. It's a very interesting question. In today's context, I think I would like to break it into 2 parts. So one is the employees who are joining our organization. The second one is the in-house talent. If you have to really look at our growth, we are exponentially growing, and we are also adding new businesses. It's like 50 businesses under 10 broader business verticals. And it's a very diverse talent as well. So we have 8th standard pass to riders to even PhDs. So we have very diverse talent. The talent needs, the learning needs are very different. When you're talking about upskilling, it's completely different. No? So we have to really customize it. So as an organization, we have customized the whole thing, and we have personalized the whole thing. And we looked at the employee learning cycle and then divided it into 5 stages. So the first stage is ready to jumpstart. When somebody is joining an organization, we want to make sure that they understand the organization, they align with our organization culture. At the same time, they are also very clear about of the expectation from their role. So we call it as role-based certifications. So the role-based certifications, you asked me a challenge, that is one of the bigger challenge. We want to make sure that how quickly they become productive, how quickly they become, they are contributing back to the organization. So that is a stage we need to really spend a lot of time and efforts. That's called, we call it as role-based certification. The stage is ready to jumpstart. The second stage is strive to perform. When somebody is settled in the organization, after a few months, they are doing all those things, but still there will be some gaps in terms of their performance, in terms of their competency or skills. So we want to address, as an organization, we want to address the gaps in their performance or competencies. So that's where we have something called Foundation Skills Academy. We have something called continuous learning interventions, competency-based learning interventions, so that these initiatives will help them to identify the skill gaps and help to fill it up. So it's completely democratized. There is no nominations or recommendation from anyone to take up these courses. Based on the feedback, the employees are completely at liberty to choose what they want to learn, and then they can learn. So this is the second stage. And the third stage is aspire to grow. That's where the in-house talent is playing. We are addressing the needs of in-house talent. So yeah, I'm doing well, and I've been performing really well in the organization. But what next? How I'm going to really grow within the organization? That's where the aspect to growth stage comes in place. So we have a very structured functional capability academies for every functions. And then there are different levels of certifications for them so that they can build their capability, understand the need-based or role-based requirements or competency-based learning, and they get certified. And then they are available in internal talent marketplace. So there is a push approach, there is a pull approach for them to grow within the organization. So these are the broader 3 stages, and the 4th stage and 5th stage we added recently. That's again keeping in mind that we are a future-ready organization. So yeah, I'm doing well, and I'm also growing with an organization. But what is my future? Will I be relevant for the future? So this is the kind of questions everyone will have, right? So then we have identified some of the future skills. We call it as Academy of Future Skills. And we are offering some 13 courses, 13 different future skills. It's not going to help them to in their current job, but it will really help them to prepare for the future. So this we are developing them, and there are more than 6,500 people have registered their expression of interest, and they are going through a journey, and more than 1,000 people have already got certified. And then we are also setting up our Tech Academy and Data Analytics Academy, because we are no more an offline physical retailer. We are also an omni-channel and online channel. So we need to really build our data analytics capability at the same time technology capability. So that's how we prepare them for future. And the last one is, of course, leadership is not a position, right? It is based on the behavior. It's not. I mean, at every stage of leadership, we want to make sure that people build their leadership capabilities. So the last one is build to lead. That's where we build the capabilities, leadership capabilities at every stage of their life, employee life cycle with the organization. Be it an entry-level manager or a senior-level leaders, everyone goes through a customized leadership development journey. That's why we have 5 stages, and that's how we democratize learning based on the employee life cycle.
Well, we'll talk about it much more in detail, but let me take a quick remark from Minaxi. Has there been any observations on your front, like from your point of view, Minaxi?
Sure. So Pallavi, Jeeva has very well articulated the entire 5-pronged step at Reliance Retail. And he spoke about from a perspective of new joinee and tenured or an existing employee. I'm going to flip that around and talk about, again, 2 perspectives, but one from the perspective of a new joinee and the other from the perspective of an employer. I think that's an interesting conundrum if we can build this out, especially as we talk about role transformation. So from a new joinee perspective, they're usually looking at companies to demonstrate their investment in them via opportunities to learn, skill themselves, and get recognized for their work. That's even more true for the younger workforce coming into corporates. From an employer's perspective, companies are looking at tenure from the new employees such that they're able to see the results of the upskilling that they're investing in into the day-to-day tasks, eventually enabling organizational success. In my experience, Pallavi, I've noticed an inadvertent lack of communication and impatience from both the parties. New joinees end up switching jobs and roles at the slightest provocation, the simplest being salary increases. Employers are not able to demonstrate a career progression journey and at times can be impatient for results without the adequate amount of skilling. And the key challenges to address here, in my mind, one, are demonstrating the willingness to learn and performing well in their current roles that needs to come from employees or our new joinees. And second, showing the path towards building a successful career for this new workforce that needs to come from employers. If we can match this together, I think we've taken care of a lot of the teething issues that we look at today in the new joinee workforce.
That's great. Well, coming back to you, Jeeva, as a champion of talent transformation, you've led some very exciting L&D initiatives at Reliance Retail, which you also spoke of in partnership with upGrad Work Better, be it like campus to corporate programs, even e-learning interventions on products. So could you tell us the desired outcome behind launching these programs, and why was upGrad your partner of choice?
So one is, of course, desired outcome of any learning intervention. People generally talk about ROI, right? So more than just simple ROI, we look at One is, of course, people should get excited to be part of a learning intervention. Today, content is available everywhere, right? And how you are really making it so relevant for the audience is very important, and how they are willing to attend and be part of the learning journey is very important. So the first one is, I mean, I would say attendance, being part of the journey itself is a big challenge. The second one is engagement, how they are engaged throughout the journey, and then being part of the journey, and learn, I mean, from whatever they're being taught. So that's the second area, engagement. Then the third one is, of course, the outcome or result, right? Whether we call it as lag indicator or leading indicators, we look at both of things. But obviously, we want them to be successful in their job. So I always say that, no, the purpose of my function, or purpose of my role is to help people succeed. When I help them to be successful, I'm sure they will also contribute to organization growth and individual growth. Of course, the lead indicators, lag indicators, we look at. I mean, there are several measures we look at it, and of course, what we are expecting is they need to be successful in their job. And these are all some broader expectation from any learning intervention for the matter. And of course, when we worked, I mean, when we decided to work with upGrad, at least we are working on few interventions, very interesting interventions. So one is our campus to corporate program, and the other one is building people for the future. No? So when I talk about academia future skills, and even some of the leadership interventions, we are working on several areas. The reason for choosing upGrad, one, of course, their ability to provide hybrid learning interventions. I don't think we are going to work only with the either or is gone. So the in-person training program or online program or only e-learning program is gone. So we need to really look at capability to deliver hybrid journeys, hybrid programs. So making sure that we have role plays, we have case studies, we have brainstorming, we have storytelling, because that's another very interesting way of engaging with audience. So storytelling, one-to-one presentations, there are no multiple ways of engaging them. I think the unique value proposition I'm seeing with upGrad is their ability to provide this hybrid learning intervention. I think that's the reason we have partnered with upGrad, and we are working with them. Minaxi,
Sure.
you want to add anything?
No, thanks for that, Jeeva. And this is really a true partnership. You've constantly advised us, spoken to us very candidly and transparently about the culture of the organization, what Reliance Retail stands for, the digital transformation that you're looking at. So I would always say the partnership is only as good as the information and the camaraderie that we have with our customers. And thank you for that.
Well, I mean, actually taking this forward, the way Jeeva explained the different types and the formats, it would be interesting to know from you, like your perspective about the interesting learning formats that were implemented. And also, having worked on different modules for various kinds of learners, be it design trainees to premier, be pass outs, even a store associate. So if you could tell us, how upGrad addressed this diverse learning needs while aligning the organizational vision.
Sure, Pallavi. So as we mentioned, Reliance Retail was a really engaging opportunity for us, and we're very thankful for the partnership with Jeeva and his extended team. So here, whether it was workshops, to classroom sessions, to virtual instructor-led sessions, to we learn to self-paced, we used all of it. And the magnificence was that we were able to pace and place them in the manner that the Reliance employees wanted to consume the information. So if you could just take a step back, in 2020 during the pandemic, that's when Reliance launched their internal Reliance Future Skills Academy, which Jeeva touched upon. They offered programs in both tech and behavioral skills. We partnered with them on the soft skills development, on topics like complex problem solving, emotional intelligence, just to mention a couple. Approximately 10 odd batches were trained, and our collective motto was to build skills that ensure that the workforce is future ready. Now, a lot of companies talk about it, but Reliance Retail really brought this into the everyday of the engagement and the investment that they did. So, for example, on the campus to corporate program that we're speaking about for freshers from B schools in India at Reliance Retail, we offered soft skills in terms of business etiquette, time management, communication, presentation skills, and other transformational skills that were needed for their roles. Learners and employees who were part of the journey are currently at about the fourth month out of the fourth month of the journey. Are currently at the fourth month out of their fifth month journey. And with them, we've engaged in pre-training activities, classroom sessions, hackathons, quizzes. And the Reliance team has been absolutely brilliant in terms of being open to these ideas on how can we make learning engaging. And Jeeva mentioned attendance. How can learning be engaging and full of attendance for the employees? The other one that I want to talk about, Pallavi, is also the training that we did for the sales employees pan India for the store managers. So Reliance team wanted to make sure that the executives had the necessary product knowledge and the process to sell it. The best part about the process is that it's baked into the learning journey organically. And what I mean by that is the program has a behavioral twist as to how to actually connect with the customer. What's the potential? How to win the customer rather than just black and white teaching them how to sell a product. Jeeva actually touched upon this in detail in terms of the learning and development programs, the future focus programs at a large scale that they've done. And in my mind, Pallavi, it was a great yin to the yang. Jeeva and his team had a very clear idea on what they wanted, and they were very open to our partnerships in terms of the journey that we created, the different interventions that we did, and really making learning pervasive and engaging for the audience.
Well, as we are discussing, the different programs, campus to corporate program, e-learning product modules, Jeeva, it would be interesting if you could, a little bit, if you could highlight any examples, any data, any numbers, in terms of the impact that you saw on the organization.
So Pallavi, for example, our design, our management training, the campus to corporate program, the idea is to make sure that they are able to acclimatize with the organization culture very quickly. And the transition from campus to corporate is the important thing. So it's a 6 months journey. And as Minaxi rightly pointed out, the journey has been fantastic so far. It's not about just engagement. It is all about how they are quickly understanding the need of the organization and the deliverables of the organization. And now they are working on a capstone presentations project also. So which they are going to submit next month, so 6 months. And once they complete this journey, they will be able to quickly jump into their regular role. So already they are going through the functional training as well. So if I have to really look at some impact, the impact is they are able to quickly get into a corporate role in 6 months' time. So they'll be able to do their job, whatever they are going through. So there are about 67 trainees as of now, they are going through this. And coming to our feature skills or even some of the leadership skills, the numbers are really high. And I don't want to reveal all the numbers here, but the numbers are, as part of our organization, we look at any program, it's minimum 500 people. So that's what I think she mentioned it. 10 batches. So one program, 10 batches. That's the future skills, right? Now that's how we look at it. And I think I also mentioned it some time back that there are about future skills alone, there are 6,500 people they have registered, and then they are going through a training program. So as and when we start, they are going through that. And that's our first edition. First edition, the expression of interest. So we are running our 4th edition now. So the numbers are really interesting, and the kind of, if you want to really look at Reliance as an organization, to give you some perspective of the learning hours, I'm talking about learning hours. Last year, it is 14 million learning hours. 1 year, it is 14 million learning hours. And store associate also we are working on with them. So there are a lot of interesting things are happening. So I'm not revealing all the numbers here, but yeah, that's how it is happening.
Thanks, Jeeva, for sharing all those insights. And 14 million is quite a promising number. But talking about the different aspects, actually having led so many diverse learning programs and catering to evolving needs of role transformation, we want to know from you some key takeaways that you would like to share with the community on upskilling a high impact workforce.
Sure, Pallavi. So while Jeeva was speaking, I was actually reminded of a Harvard Business Review statement that has stayed with me, which said that treat skilling as a business investment, not an expense. And when I look at Jeeva, what Reliance Retail is doing, it stands true. Globally, more than $300 billion is spent on corporate education each year. And when we talk to companies, majority of corporate education initiatives demonstrated limited to very marginal measurable impacts. And that's really something that I want to leave with our audience today. As a business and as an extended learning partner to enterprises, we as upGrad are focused on delivering quantifiable business impacts. I would request and advise my colleagues and leaders in the HR, learning, and business fraternity to focus on the business outcomes that will be achieved by the learning initiatives and build steps to quantify the business impact that they wish to see. Now, it's easier said than done, but the more attention that is paid in the building of the steps of the governance of a program, the stronger is the likelihood of one, positive learning feedback, and second, the application of the learning by the employees who are undergoing these training interventions. So, for example, Pallavi, one of the campus to corporate programs that we had done for another one of our customers, for a large tech company actually, received a 99.3% confidence outcome with an 89% proficiency outcome and a feedback score of 4.6. Now, these are strong numbers because of the attention that has been paid into it. And at the end of the program, this particular company came back to us and said, hey, that because of this campus to corporate program that we've done, we've been able to save our organization $300,000 because we were able to bring these resources into the projects and the programs earlier than we would have otherwise done. And for our audience members, I would say that's the power of a learning intervention if we're able to bring those steps in, if we're able to very consciously think of how do we quantify that. So to summarize, Pallavi, one, build programs that have correlation with business outcomes. Second, quantify the impact that we wish to see via robust governance mechanisms to ensure gaps are plugged in sooner rather than later. And third, ensure that the learning interventions are built with a strong focus towards application of the learner's everyday job. And that's where not just role performance, but role transformations also happen.
Well, on that note, I'll take a closing comment from Jeeva. So, as a passionate advocate for talent transformation and a dedicated learner yourself, how can businesses today empower a workforce to continuously grow and innovate?
Yeah, thank you, Pallavi. Minaxi rightly pointed out it's not about only the employees' role readiness, and role transformation is also important. I somehow believe in the talent management era is gone. I don't think, you can manage the talent. You can probably liberate talent by empowering them to build their capabilities. Having spent more than 2.5 decades in HR, now I'm focusing more on only talent transformation. Maybe from a generalist role I become a specialist role, but I really enjoy it. That's going to be the future, and that's going to be the future of HR as well. So when I'm talking about future of HR, all your shared services, all your HR management, HR operations, anyone can do it, and that's with the technology support, it's very easy. But I think HR plays a major role in terms of transforming the talent. And I think we need to spend our efforts. I request my fellow talent leaders and HR leaders to spend more time on building capabilities of our employees, because we could liberate the talent, not necessarily manage the talent. That's why I'm calling it. It's not about talent management; it's about talent liberation, so that we upskill them, reskill them, cross-skill them, and then they become a transdisciplinary. They're expert in multiple disciplines, and they'll be able to grow with the organization. At the same time, they'll also be able to contribute to the growth of the organization. And when organizations are really looking at an exponential growth, a lot of companies are focusing on high performance processes now, and this would really help them to achieve that. And the second thing is, as talent, even the employees' aspirations are also important. Everyone is aspiring to grow faster, right? So, my aspirations without building my capabilities, it's not going to lead me anywhere, right? As an employee, I have my aspirations. I need to build my capabilities. I'm expecting my organization to provide that framework or provide an infrastructure for me to build my capabilities so that I could meet that organization talent needs. I think this is what we believe in. There are three, the intersection between employee aspiration, their capabilities, and organization talent needs is a real growth. And I think that's a talent mobility, what we are talking about. And for that, we need to continuously focus on building capabilities. As I mentioned it earlier, the vision of my function is helping our people to succeed so that they could facilitate organizational growth. And at the same time, individual growth is also is a byproduct. So it happens simultaneously, right? I think all your numbers, CAGR, top line, bottom line, and market share, everything will go well. And I think Minaxi also rightly pointed out business outcomes. So it could really relate to business outcomes by building the capabilities of the people so that it also meets the talent needs of the organization. So we need, multi-talented resources, and I think they'll be able to contribute to the success of the organization. So let's focus on upskilling, reskilling, cross-skilling, or any kind of skilling, any directions. I think they will really contribute to the organization growth.
Sure. In fact, talent liberation, that's the keyword that's going to remain with us. Thank you so much, Jeeva and Minaxi, for sharing your insights on this panel. And it was wonderful listening to both of you during this short yet meaningful conversation, learning more about all the initiatives and your partnership with upGrad. Thank you once again for being part of this conversation.
Thanks, Pallavi.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pallavi. Thank you, Minaxi. It's been a wonderful conversation. Yeah. Thank you.
Likewise, Jeeva. Really appreciate all the nuggets that you shared with us today.
Sure. Well, that's all in today's session. We'll bring more exciting, impactful takeaways on empowering your organizational growth strategies in our next episode. Stay tuned for more. Thank you for watching.